Hello everyone, good morning. This is Dr. Ketsi from CSC Department, RIT Rajapalayam. So in this session, we are going to discuss about thread synchronization concept in Java. So this is one of the most important concepts in Java. So in the session, we are going to see about the synchronization. So what is synchronization and how do we achieve the synchronization? Right, so let us see what is synchronization, and before that we should know about multi-threading concept. Right, we all know multi-threading concept. It allows concurrent execution of two or more ports of a same program, right? That is called multi-threading. So synchronization, it means when two or more threads need access to a shared resource, then it should be ensured that the resources, that is the shared resource, will be used by only one thread at a time. So that is, we should avoid the thread interferences. So the way of achieving this process is called synchronization. So we need to ensure that the shared resource is being used by only one thread at a time, right? So this is called synchronization. So how can we achieve the synchronization? And why do we use the synchronization? In order to prevent thread interferences, and also it prevents consistency problem, right? So consistency problem in the sense there's a shared resource. It may be a database, or it may be a file, or it may be anything, right? So if we prevent thread interference, then indirectly, implicitly, we'll be preventing the consistency problem, right? So at a time, the shared resource will be allowed to be accessed only by one process or one thread, right? So we can avoid consistency problem also. So how do we achieve the synchronization in Java? There are two ways we can achieve the thread synchronization. One is mutual exclusive synchronization. Another one is by cooperation, right? So in mutual exclusion, we'll be using three ways. That is, we'll be synchronizing the method, and we'll be synchronizing the block, and we'll be using static synchronization, right? And the second one is inter-thread communication in Java. So in this session, we are going to focus on synchronized method, right? So before that, let us discuss, if we do not apply synchronization, what will happen, right? So this is a sample program. So in this program, what we have done is I have created a table class called table, and inside this class I'm having a method called print table. Now this print table is going to be acted as a shared resource, right? So this print table is going to be accessed by one or more threads in this program, right? So this is my table. So this is my class table, right? So in this I'm having the method called print table method. So this print table method is the shared resource now, right? So inside this method, what I have done is just we have printed the table, that is in table. If I pass 5, then it will print 5 table. If I pass 100, it will print 100 table up to 5. Okay, so this is my class. So here I'm having a class called my thread 1. It extends or it inherits the class thread. So my thread is a subclass for the class thread. And in this class, what I am doing is just I am creating a reference variable for the previous class table, right? For this table class. So I'm creating a reference variable, and just I'm passing this reference variable to the parameterized constructor of the class myThread1, right? Now table T. So here I'm passing the reference variable as an argument for this uh, constructor, right? So here I am just overriding the run method. So run method is the method which is in the base class called thread. I am extending the thread class. So here I am overriding the run method, right? So here inside this run method, what I am doing, just I am calling the print table method of the previous class table, right? So I'm passing the argument 5. So it will print 5 table. And I'm having another one class my thread 2. It also extends the base class thread, right? Here also I'm just passing the reference variable of the previous class table, and inside the run method just I'm printing 100 table. That is, I'm calling the printable method of the previous class table, and here I'm passing 100, so it prints 100 table. Okay, so this is my main class, and inside this main method what I'm doing, just I'm creating an object for the class table. Now I'm passing this object while creating objects for the previous two classes, myThread1 and myThread2, right? So here myThread1, it extends thread class, right? Just I'm creating two threads, that's it, T1 and T2, by passing the same object. See, keep it in mind, I'm creating only one object here, and I'm passing the same object to both the threads T1 and T2, right? So now T1 dot start, what will happen? It will implicitly call the run method of thread T1, right? And the next line T2 dot start, so it also, while executing the start method, it implicitly calls the run method of the thread T2, right? So now what will happen? The first T1 dot start. So T1 T1 dot start. So in T1 dot start, run method will be executed. Here T dot printable of 5, right? I am passing argument 5. So here what will be printed? So in this case 5 is printed, right? Because I value is 1. So 1 into 5, n value is 5. So 5 is printed. Here I am making the thread to pass for a 5. Why? That is it. For a while it will stop, right? The thread will be passed for a while, that is for a while in the sense 400 millisecond, right? So at the time the second thread T2 will be allowed to access this printable method. Now T2 dot start, so what will happen? T2 dot run will be executed. Inside this T2 run, what we have written, T dot print table of 100, so it will print 100 table. Now what will be printed? Say the I value is 1, so n value is 100, so 1 into 100, that is 100, so 100 will be printed. Previously 5 was printed, now 100 is printed. Now the thread is made to pass for a while. So at the time T1 can be allowed to access this printable method. So T1 return. So inside this T1, what we have done? Printable of 5. So here now I value is 2. So 2 into 5, that is 2 into 5, 10 will be printed. Now the thread is made to pass for a while, that is for 400 millisecond. Now the other thread will be allowed. So your output will be just like this, 500, 10, 200. So an interleaved situation occurs here, right? So but my aim is to print the 5 table completely, that is 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and then 100 table, 100, 200, 300, 400, 500. But the output is not such a case here, right? Because synchronization was not applied in this program, right? So how can we achieve the synchronization? So while thread 1 takes the control, no other thread can be allowed to access the printable method. Once the thread T1 completes its execution, T2 can be allowed to access. Right? So that is called synchronization. So if you apply synchronization, what will be the output? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and then 100, 200, 300, 400, and 500. Okay, so let us see that one. See how I can achieve synchronization. I'll be using a keyword synchronized, right? So in the table in the method print table. So before that method print table, I should use the keyword synchronized, right? So if I add this keyword synchronized, what will happen? If I call T1 dot start, T1 will completely acquires the lock for this method print table. So once it completes its execution, that is once the I value becomes 5, that is greater than 5, then it will release the lock so that the next thread T2 can gain the lock. So it will display 5, 10, 15, 20 up to 25, and then T2 will acquire the lock and it will start execution. It will start its execution. So it will print 100, 200, 300, 400, and 500. Right? So your output will be like this. So this is what synchronization, right? So we achieve the synchronization by using the synchronized method. See here, the print table method is nothing but the shared resource, right? So both the threads T1 and T2 are trying to access this method. So without using synchronized method, an interleaved situation will occur. So the output will not be in a proper way. So in order to synchronize, we'll be using the keyword called synchronized keyword, right? Thank you for watching this video. Thank you.